They thought it would be an easy mission. Instead, they were captured in a secret operation and brought face to face with President Ibrahim Traoré himself. It started with a quiet intelligence alert. Security services received reports of unusual movement near a rural trade route frequently used by local farmers and cross-border merchants. At first glance, it seemed routine, but analysts noticed a pattern. The timing, the direction, and the coordination didn't match normal civilian activity. Surveillance teams were dispatched discreetly. From a distance, they observed shadowy figures moving carefully along the route, avoiding main roads and checkpoints. The information was immediately escalated to the highest levels. Under the leadership of Ibrahim Traoré, security forces have prioritized rapid response night operations. Within hours, a specialized unit was deployed quietly. No sirens, no headlights, no public warning. The objective was clear: intercept, contain, and capture. Now I'm connecting you with Kofi for more detailed information.
Now you are connected with Kofi when the forces closed in near an isolated clearing. A short but tense standoff followed. Commands were shouted in the dark. Weapons were raised for a moment. It seemed the situation could erupt into violence, but precision prevailed. 3 suspects were arrested alive. At the scene, officers confiscated encrypted communication devices, marked route maps, fuel containers, and logistical supplies suggesting planned mobility across multiple locations. Officials now suspect the group was not acting alone. Intelligence sources believe a larger coordinated attack may have been in preparation, one that could have targeted key trade corridors or civilian hubs if true. This operation may have prevented something far more destabilizing. But arresting them was only the beginning. Inside a secured facility, the atmosphere shifted from chaos to calculation. At first, the 3 suspects appeared calm, almost rehearsed, sitting across from investigators. They spoke with measured confidence. One insisted they had simply been called for a mission. Another claimed they were responding to an opportunity, not planning violence. They repeated what they had been told, that Burkina Faso was unstable, divided, vulnerable. According to their account, the mission would face little resistance. But investigators weren't relying on words alone. On the table lay confiscated communication, devices, extracted messages, marked maps, and fuel logs detailing coordinated movement. The evidence contradicted their narrative. Timelines matched known surveillance alerts, contacts linked back to cross-border networks. The questioning intensified when confronted with specific names and encrypted exchanges. The first signs of strain appeared. One suspect's posture changed, his voice lowered. The confidence that filled the room minutes earlier began to dissolve. Another shifted blame too. Recruiters, claiming he had been misled, told the operation would be simple, that local forces were disorganized. He admitted they were promised support that never came. A third quietly acknowledged what they hadn't anticipated: the speed of the response, the coordination, the preparedness. They had underestimated the government. What began as defiance slowly turned into hesitation, then fear. And just as the reality of their situation began to settle in, then came the moment they didn't expect. The room was silent, a high-security chamber, concrete walls, one metal table, armed guards positioned at a distance, no cameras for spectacle, only documentation. The 3 suspects were brought in wearing restraints. The earlier confidence seen during interrogation had faded. Their movements were slower now, heavier. Than the door opened. Ibrahim Traoré entered calmly, no dramatic entrance, no raised voice, no visible anger. He took his seat across from them and simply looked at them, steady, unbroken eye contact. The kind that forces you to confront your own decisions. Seconds felt like minutes. Finally, he spoke. "You thought this country would fall." The words were not shouted, they were measured. Controlled. One suspect swallowed hard before responding. "We were misled. We were told no one would resist, that the state was divided." Another quickly added that they were promised financial reward and protection. That support would be waiting once their objective was complete, but there was no support, no backup, only handcuffs. The youngest among them, barely able to maintain eye contact, admitted he had been afraid from the beginning, afraid of the mission, afraid of failure, afraid now of what would come next. One of them began begging, not loudly but desperately, apologies, excuses, claims of manipulation. Traoré listened without interruption, then he leaned slightly forward. "You did not find weakness here," he said calmly. "You found a nation awake, and in that moment." The psychological battle was over. The atmosphere shifted from confrontation to clarity. After the tense exchange, Ibrahim Traoré addressed the broader meaning of what had just unfolded. His tone remained calm, deliberate, not driven by anger but by resolve. He emphasized one point above all: the protection of civilians. No group, he stated firmly, will be allowed to destabilize our communities, threaten our trade routes, or spread fear among our people. The message was not just for the suspects in custody. It was for anyone watching, allies, adversaries, and citizens alike. He made it clear that violence would not intimidate Burkina Faso. Attempts to exploit uncertainty or test the state's resolve would be met with preparedness and lawful response. But there was no dramatic announcement of punishment, no immediate sentence declared in that room. Instead, he reinforced a principle often overlooked in moments of crisis: justice belongs to the courts. The investigation would continue, evidence would be reviewed, due process would be followed. The state would respond not with chaos, but with structure outside the facility. Life moved forward, markets opened at sunrise, vendors arranged produce, motorbikes navigated narrow streets. Conversations carried on, cautious but steady. Soldiers remained visible on patrol, not as a show of fear but of vigilance. Citizens watched closely, listening, waiting. And in that quiet continuation of daily life, the message was unmistakable. Burkina Faso was not shaken, it was standing. They entered believing they would spread fear. Instead, they discovered something stronger: unity. What was meant to destabilize only revealed a nation more alert, more coordinated, and more determined to defend its sovereignty. The operation was not just about 3 arrests. It was about a message: Burkina Faso will not bow to intimidation. But now the bigger question begins. Should justice in cases like this be harsh, to send a warning, or rehabilitative, to prevent future radicalization? What do you think? Share your perspective in the comments below. Let the discussion begin.